Everybody, we're here to pray this morning, and today we're going to look at Jesus' favorite psalm. I can't prove it, but I believe it's his favorite psalm, and I'll tell you why in a minute. We're looking actually at Psalm 31. You know, in life, if you read the Bible, you realize that there's a lot of suffering in the world and in life, even for people who follow Jesus. Think about David, think about Paul, Peter, and even Jesus himself. They all face suffering. They all face suffering. Now, suffering comes because of different reasons. Sometimes we suffer because of our own actions. We do something wrong, we get involved with something, and we end up suffering. And that's the consequences, right? We suffer consequences. And God designed the world that way so that consequences, particularly bad consequences, will drive us towards changing our behavior. Hopefully we get to that place. Another reason we suffer is because of the actions of other people. We live in a broken world, and when bad people do bad things, everybody suffers. Tomorrow is the 24th anniversary of 9/11. And there were all kinds of people in that building that day. Christians, non-Christians, and everyone suffered the same fate. Because when it rains on the just and the unjust. It's the nature of the world. There will be suffering. And sometimes God brings suffering or allows suffering in our life to mold our character. I know he's done that with me, molding our character. And sometimes God allows suffering in our life as an example to other people. I think of what we studied in our community group the other day of Paul and Silas in prison. And they're suffering, they're singing hymns and praying. The other prisoners are listening. So God has many reasons that he allows suffering. It's not random. He allows it. If God doesn't allow it, nothing happens if God doesn't allow something. So what do we do when we suffer? It's suffering to suffer. Let me put it that way. It's not easy. It's difficult. And Paul knew what to do, and David knew what to do, and Jesus knew what to do. And they had a refuge. They had a refuge. David wrote Psalm 31. And David was hunted down by Saul for 10 years, trying to kill him. David, at times in his life, was betrayed, abandoned. His own son wanted to kill him. David faced many, many times of suffering. And in Psalm 31, he says, "In you, Lord, I have taken refuge." Refuge. David had God as a refuge. And when I think of what is a refuge, we're not so used to that word, but if you live in Ukraine, when there's an air raid signal, when bombs start falling, they all go to their refuge. I think most of the time it's in the subway. Same thing in Israel, Palestine. They have, when the sirens go off, they find a place of refuge where they'll be safe. And so it's interesting that God uses that word in the Bible. And David says, "In you, Lord, I've taken refuge." And David learned, because when he was running from Saul, he went to, often when he was in tight spot, he went to the cave at Adullam. You'll see that a number of times. And the cave was made out of rock. Very strong rock, above, behind, beneath, on the sides, and just an entrance on the middle, in the front. And so he felt safe in the cave of Adullam. And he learned from that physical experience that God is a refuge. Even though he's not, we can't physically see it, like going into an air raid shelter. When I was, we have a young man here praying with us this morning. He's 7 years old. When I was 7 years old, in elementary school, they used to have air raid signals in those days, I remember. And everyone had to get under their little desk. Like that would stop you from a Russian nuclear weapon or something like that. Protect you. But that's what they believed. So you they had a signal go up, we have to get in the refuge, which was under our desk. Somebody else remembers that also. But David learned the physical importance of a refuge, but he also transferred that to the spiritual realm. That God is a refuge. So in the midst of whatever chaos and suffering and fears I have, whatever worries I have, whatever pain I have, we can find a refuge in God. So spiritually, I'm in that refuge. And I'm safe when I'm in the refuge. And it's something we enter through prayer, we enter through worship, we enter through focusing ourselves. And so he says, in you, Lord, I have taken refuge. Let me never be put to shame. Deliver me in your righteousness. Turn your ear to me. Come quickly to my rescue. Be my rock of refuge. Be my rock of refuge. A strong fortress to save me. Since you are my rock and my fortress, for the sake of your name, lead and guide me. Keep me free from the trap that is set for me, for you are my refuge. You are my refuge. He repeatedly reminds himself, God is my refuge and my strength. He's my rock. He's my fortress. So when we pass through things, it's good to read the scripture, to remind, even memorize the scripture. And God, you are my refuge. You are my refuge. You are my fortress, God. I come to you, and we come to him, and we're in that refuge. And in the midst of all the chaos of the suffering around us, we are in the refuge of God. Now, an illustration I always remember is a king was made a contest for the best picture of peace. And people painted pictures of serene lakes and sunsets and everything like that. And then finally he saw one picture where there was like a violent waterfall. And he said, how can that be a picture of peace? And he looked closely, and behind the waterfall was a little bird in a cleft of a rock, in a rock outcropping, peacefully sitting on its nest. It was in the refuge. And we have that refuge. We follow Jesus. We have that refuge. And so let's run to the refuge in times of struggle. And the reason I say this is Jesus' favorite psalm is when Jesus was on the cross. Remember Gethsemane, he was suffering to the point of sweating drops of blood. On the cross, he was suffering horribly. And yet on the cross, he quoted Psalm 31. Not the whole thing, but a verse in there. He quoted it. That he commits his spirit unto the Lord. And I believe, and I can't prove it, he was probably meditating on that psalm while he was hanging on the cross and saying, God, you are my refuge. You are my refuge. You are my strength. You are my fortress. And when we do that, God takes us into the refuge. And we can have that peace in the midst of the suffering. And that's a real refuge. That's a real refuge. So I encourage you today with those words. And today we're going to pray. We're going to pray for different people who need a refuge. We're going to pray, number one, for those who are sick. And it's crazy right now. My wife and I know like 7 people who are really sick. 7 people who have cancer, actually, which is, and some of them very, very young.
Most of them.
Huh?
Most of them.
Well, most of them have cancer, yeah. So we're going to pray that they would find that refuge. Some of them don't even know Christ. We're going to pray for immigrants. I'm not getting political at all, but that they would find a refuge in God. You know, whatever country they're running from, whatever they're worried about. And that God would use us to direct people to the refuge of God. Use us, because there's a refuge, and we find safety and security. So God bless you. If you need prayer and you're watching online, you can leave a message. And we always will pray for every request that comes in. So So until next week, see you, and God bless you.